Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to part 7 of Building Imperial Shipyards in Lego. Now, I am excited for this video. I feel like I say that every intro to these building series videos that I'm excited, but I really am. I really am excited every time I do these videos to show you guys the work that I put into this mock and the newest additions, because I know you guys enjoyed this series. I know I'm having a lot of fun building this mock myself. I mean, every time that I do, one of these building series videos, I am excited, really am, to show you guys the newest additions. But this one in particular, this part, I am very excited to show you guys because there's a new ship in the shipyards. You can see it behind me, and that is the ever so dangerous Arquitens class cruiser. Okay, so those actually aren't that dangerous in the Star Wars universe. Of course, they were used by the Grand Army of the Republic originally, and then the Galactic Empire did adopt them later on through the years when the Empire rose to its power. And they were used throughout the Imperial Navy. So I did build some Arquitens class cruisers. I said I was going to do that a few parts ago, that I was looking into building some of those. Luckily, Brick Vault did make some nice designs of Arquitens class cruisers, and they are matching the same exact scale that I needed them to be for the UCS Star Destroyer. So they do match the scale of the Star Destroyer, which is very, very convenient, not only for the Star Destroyer if I do decide to put it in a display case, but also for this mock. So not only does it match the scale of the Star Destroyer, but it does match the scale of most everything else on the mock. In this video, I am time-lapsing me building the Arquitens class cruiser. Now, I did build 2 total, and there's going to be 2 Arquitens class cruisers on the mock. However, I am probably not going to put that second one on the mock just yet. I'm going to wait later. I'm going to explain more into that later on into the video of why exactly I'm not going to put the Arquitens, the second Arquitens, into the mock right now. But again, I did do a time lapse of me building the first Arquitens, and I already have the second one built, just not on the mock. Also, of course, I'm going to be showing you guys the newest additions that I have made on the actual structure of the mock. Now, it's not too much because this video is focusing more on the Arquitens class cruiser, but it is showing some of the newest additions that I did add, because I did add on some extensions. Also, this video is getting to the very near end of ending phase 1 of this mock. So we are getting very close, guys. Hopefully next part will be the end of phase 1. But anyway, guys, with enough of me talking, we're going to actually go ahead and get on to the time-lapse right now of me building the Arquitens, and then after that time-lapse, we're going to jump into the actual mock and me showing you guys a closer look of not only the Arquitens, but also the actual mock itself. Alright, guys, so here is the Arquitens finished. I did add this in a few days ago, actually. This was actually the first thing I did when adding on to this mock for of course, the next part. And I was so excited to put this in, and that's why it was the first thing that I added in. I do have a second Arquitens. Eventually, it will be put into the mock. Now, I'm going to talk about that, actually, of why the second one is not in. There's two reasons actually why the Arquitens is not in. So first off, the Arquitens is going to go on this side. It's going to be on this side. And one reason why I'm not putting it in there is because most of my parts I put on this side now, being that this side is pretty much occupied from what I've been building onto the mock. So most of the parts that I have are on this side. So I'm coming over here a lot, picking up parts and stuff. And if I had it on a stand, I'm afraid I'd bump into it and then knock over the Arquitens and then it'd just shatter. So that's a part of the reason why I'm not putting that up just yet. As well as I've learned from this one that it's extremely tricky to get around the Arquitens while trying to build. So the unfortunate news is that second Arquitens is not going to come in till very late in the building series. In fact, it might be actually the last thing that's added into the building series potentially, because I'm going to have to need to build this side first, pretty much, if I'm going to, you know, get that second Arquitens in, because I really don't want to try to build, you know, around the trans-clear brick stands, because let me tell you guys, I do have some stuff that I have to add in here in terms of detail, and it is very tricky to get in there between that tight space when you've got the Star Destroyer here. Of course, you've got the structure here, and then you've got this thing also added in the middle. It is very tricky to get in between those areas and build there. So that's why I've kind of learned from my mistakes here, and I'm not going to put that in until pretty much the end of the building series. So that's the unfortunate news. We're not going to have the second one in for a very, very, very long time. But yeah, guys, here's a up-close look of the Arquitens. Very nice model and design of this fantastic ship. I like it overall. There is a few structural stuff that I'm not really too fond of. Really, that mainly being is the engines. The engines are kind of barely on there, and it is a bit tricky to put those on. And then, of course, on the back of the ship, I want to show you guys this. This right here just isn't really connected to anything. It's just kind of wobbling there. So I don't really like that. That's kind of weird. It's not connected as well as this, but you don't really notice it that much. I'm almost afraid to actually touch the Arquitens because it is not really on that stand. It's not connected, actually. I can just pick it up. As you can see, I don't really want to mess with it too much. But yeah, it's not connected at all to that stand. It's just resting on it. And again, that's another reason why I don't want to put another Arquitens up, because it's not connected to anything. So there's more of a chance of it just falling off. Now, enough about the Arquitens. Let's go ahead and get on to the next, showing you guys the additions that I've added. Now, it's not a whole lot, because again, this video is focusing on the Arquitens mainly. I feel like I've said Arquitens a lot. So I'm just going to shut up, and we're going to get on to this part here. Now, this is pretty much again, the same thing that I've been doing here, is just extending this. So I did finish the kind of shipping area here. This is set to go. Of course, I just got to put some shipping containers in there, and this will be done. I do have another crane in here. This crane is done. I did change up the look of it a little bit. So I added in some black pieces and some light bluish gray pieces, rather than on this side was the contrast between dark bluish gray and light bluish gray. So now we have two cranes in. We're going to have to do one more on phase one. That's going to look fantastic. It already does look fantastic with, two cranes just sitting there. This is definitely starting to come together as an actual dock. Over here, if you look in between that space there, that is another ground hangar or ground vehicle hangar. And that is actually going to be probably the last one on phase one. The reason why is because over here where this empty space is, or where these pab cups are, I'm going to move that. This here is probably going to be just a giant room full of fuel tanks, generators, stuff like that, pretty much just machinery. And what's going to happen is on the outside here, we're going to have some fuel tanks and fuel pumps. And that's pretty much representing that's where the fuel tanks are to hold the fuel, to fuel up Star Destroyers. And of course, those fuel tanks are going to have to be pretty massive to hold enough fuel for Star Destroyers, especially if they're going on long voyages. So this area here is going to be a pretty much a big machinery room. It's going to have fuel tanks and generators and stuff like that, all that cool stuff. So it's going to change it up a bit. I am going to have it to where you can look inside. So that's why I didn't really do too much in terms of structure, because I didn't really want to, take away too much from the Arquitens cruiser. And I wanted to kind of have a checkpoint before I get onto this kind of, new and massive add-on that I'm going to do. Over here, of course, I did continue on this hanger here, the kind of TIE Fighter hangers. Now I'm going to do one more that's going to be on this side, and then that's going to finish that off. There's not going to be any more TIE Fighter hangers in phase 1. Now, if you notice over here, I did do this orange marking that's kind of representing that, this is continuing on. Actually, no, I'm just lying. I actually put that hanger in the wrong spot. I was not supposed to put that hanger there just yet. If you notice on this side, there's a lot of spacing between there. I was supposed to do that again. I completely forgot to do that. And by the time I realized it, it was way too late to kind of move it. I was too lazy to rip up everything. I would have to rip off the entire top half, move the hanger. I was just too lazy to do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep the hanger there and just improvise. I don't think it looks too bad, especially if we're looking at the, the whole mock as a whole. But yeah, I mean, that's my bad. But again, I'm lazy. I'm not gonna sit there and pretty much rip up half of the mock just to move that hanger over. So what's done is done. But again, there's gonna be a second hanger, and that's gonna be in the TIE Fighter hangers. And then of course after that, hopefully in part 8, I'll have phase 1 complete. That'd be amazing, because then we'd be on track with the parts that I want to line up in terms of scheduling. And then we can get on to part 9 with starting up with phase 4, or excuse me, phase 2. And then we're going to get phase 2 in with the kind of airfield thing. And then of course, phase 3 is going to be that just copy and pasted. So yeah. Well, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, the time lapse, the overall look of the Arquitens. I really enjoyed building those ships. They were fun to build until you got to some areas, but overall they were fun ships to build. If you guys are interested in wanting to build your Arquitens, or Arquitens of your own of the same design, I will have a link in the description down below to where you can purchase the instructions from Brick Vault. Now, the instructions does have other ships involved. It's not just the Arquitens. It has multiple other nanoscale ships, so you do get more bang for your buck, because you will get instructions for other ships that match the scale of that Arquitens. And also, of course, if you have a UCS Star Destroyer or the Brick Vault Custom Star Destroyer, or anything relatively close to that, it does match the scaling, similar into size of the Star Destroyer. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.